Hi, I'm Ollie Shorey, and today I'm going to show you a demo of the new functionality in vSphere version 5, update 1, and this is the ability for vSphere HA to detect and act on persistent device loss state, which is a state encountered when all paths are lost to the device and SCSI sense codes are sent to the ESX host. Previously in vSphere has been unable to detect this state and has resulted when using vSphere with VPLEX distributed volumes. When the VM's running on the non-preferred site, it's caused problems where the VM hangs when it should fail over to the preferred site. So today we're going to show you how that's been rectified. So quite simply, if we look here at the vSphere window, I have a HA cluster set up. I have two ESX servers, 212 and 213. 212 is running on a VPLEX server in Hopkinton and 213 in Boston. And if we look, I have two VMs configured. In fact, if we look at this VM, we'll see that let's look at 212 that's running on. If we look at its configuration, we'll see it's running on a distributed device 6B5. If we look in my VPLEX GUI, we'll see that my device, distributed devices. So here's device 6B5. If we click him, we can see that he's a distributed device and he's set to cluster 1 detaches. Cluster 1 in this case is the Boston cluster. My VMs are running on the Hopkinton cluster, so if I have a WAN partition in VPLEX, Hopkinton will suspend access to the volume, and previously the VMs running on that side will go into zombie state, but here we're going to see the vSphere detect the PDL state. So why don't I kick this off? Oh, one more thing to show you. If I have a look at this HA cluster, I've applied some settings which are a little bit different than we had before. If we click here, the first setting I've applied is this advanced setting, DAS Mars Clean Shutdown Enabled. That's equals true. The other thing I've done is, if we look at each ESX server, we can see if we look at 212. So this is 212. If I have a look at the configuration file, so here is etc VMware settings. I've added a setting into here, disk.terminate VM on PDL default equals true. That's applied to both the ESX server 212 and 213. Once I applied that, I rebooted my ESX servers. So here's let's kick off this WAN partition. So the command I'm going to use here on the CLI is I'm going to set the ports, the A2 ports, to enable false. The A2 are the WAN ports. I'm going to disable them. If we now go into the VPLEX GUI, we'll see, if I look at my Hopkinton storage view, let's have a look there. We can see, give it a sec, let's just refresh that. That's going to result in a big error very soon. There we go, error, which means that the WAN partition has been noticed by VPLEX. If we now go back into vSphere, we'll see that our virtual machines on 212. So they're still on 212. It's going to take a little bit of time to notice. We can actually go and look at the events, so we can see we've lost access to this device, and let's see how long this takes. In fact, let's, okay, cannot connect to storage. Okay, and both of those VMs now, as you can see, have died. So if we look at the virtual machines, they're now powered off. So because they're in a cluster, if I just go here, they should now be restarted on 213. Give that a second. before those VMs would have hung, they wouldn't have been powered off. Okay, so both of those just moved across to 213 and they're now powered on. So it took a little bit of time, but we can see that patch and those settings have definitely worked. So if we now look at the consoles of those, we can see they're powering up. Obviously they didn't go down cleanly, so they're coming up in dirty shutdown state, but effectively they will now fire up. Let's just help that along. And that pretty much concludes the demo.